Hey guys, Dean here. Just thought I'd do a quick video this evening. Apologies if the light's not great. This room is really dark in the evening, so it's just really bad at getting any decent light. But yeah, I wanted to do a video basically around the announcement back end of last week about the new Iron Maiden album. So the Book of Souls is coming out on the September the 4th. Which is really good news. We've been waiting a while for that, so that's good. Obviously with Bruce Dickinson and the cancer scare that he had end of last year, which was just after the recording of the album, just through a routine checkup. Obviously he's been given the all clear, but hasn't managed to fully recover yet, so they've delayed the tour until next year. But yeah, sounds initial signs on the album look good. A couple of Bruce Dickinson only pen tracks, which is good. As I mentioned to John Bellamy, another thread, Power Slave is probably my all-time favourite Iron Maiden track. So really good to have him pen two songs on the new album, one of which is around the 18-minute mark, which is by far the longest Iron Maiden track they've done so far, which is really good. There's also, I think, 3 other tracks that are penned by Dickinson and Smith. Adrian Smith is, for me, probably Dickinson's best writing partner. He seems to have this rapport with Bruce that has shown up on his previous solo albums as well, so it's really good signs. And I think there's just seems to be a mix as well of writing on this album, and I think they've said that in the official statement that's come out. Yannick Gers, obviously, big songwriter, sort of teamed up with Dave Murray, which doesn't write too much stuff, or at least the stuff that comes out on the albums anyway. So obviously Steve Harris is still in there, but I think he's sort of let go of the reins a bit, and just let the other band members have a bit of play around and stuff. There's quite a few tracks on this one as well. I'll say there's quite a few tracks, quite a few long tracks. So this is officially their first double album. So it'll be a double CD and a triple vinyl album. Thankfully on black album, vinyl only, which is really good news. No more picture disc stuff to worry about, so we can get straight and listen to it on vinyl, the way it should be. So takes you back to the 80s when I was buying them over the counter, so really good stuff. But yeah, so just wanted to sort of chat around that. Really excited for the new album. It's probably the first one. I mean, Final Frontier came out a few years back, and to be honest, it's one of those albums that sort of not so much passed me by, but sort of glossed over it. Sort of came out around the time where I didn't really have a lot of time to listen to the album. So I'm certainly going to make a point of actually sitting down and listening to it in full, probably a couple of times on the day of release, and obviously we'll get feedback here as soon as I listen to it a couple of times. So yeah, so there's that. So really excited for that. September the 4th can't come around quick enough, and it's sort of over the weekend and the couple of days beforehand. I know I've been listening to a few, I suppose early sort of 80s. Metal, a heyday of metal as it were. So I thought I'd just share those through with you guys. It's not been particularly much in the way of new arrivals as such anyway coming through, so I've been sort of digging out through the collection. I've been cleaning a lot of stuff. I've got a few, a few records. I've got quite a lot of records that are just effectively still in plastic boxes, which need going through, plastic crates. Just going through picking the stuff that I've got from job lots, so it's stuff whether I'm going to keep myself or whether it's stuff that will just get sold on eBay, fund and so forth. But anyway, enough which none for me. We'll just get down to it. So the first album of the few that I've picked out, I've just been listening to from the collection, is Annihilator, Never Neverland. Now these are, I'm sure that the whole band is Canadian. No, I think Jeff Waters is definitely Canadian, or in the Hell from Canada. But come on to this. This was, think it was around early 90s, sort of late 80s, 1990. This is a really, really good album. This is sort of heavy, sort of speed thrash metal. It's sort of pretty much picked off where, you know, Metallica left Justice for All, really, and sort of Metallica slowed it down a bit. These guys carried on thrashing away, as it were. The first side of this is, I think, if they released the first 5 tracks as an EP, this album would be hard to beat. There's nothing wrong at all. I think it's just the first 5 tracks are absolutely perfect. I don't know really what else to say about that. I mean, the tracks on there stand up for themselves. The Fun Palace is just a really fantastic balls out opener. Jeff Waters' guitar playing is just frenetic, but really precise, melodical. You know, everything you want from a metal album. It's here. Road to Ruin, 6s and 7s. I mean, the pace never really slows down. You've got heaviness, you've got fantastic guitar playing, but without losing song structure. Stonewall, which was a single, I think, pretty sure of the 12-inch of this, which does slow things down a bit, but again, it's still really, you know, in your face. It's, you know, proper thrash metal, basically. And Never Never Land, which is the title track. Again, it's, you know, sort of typical, I suppose, sort of Maiden-esque, you know, long length song, as it were. Sort of slows it down, speeds it up in places, brings it back down again, you know, that sort of type of thing. Sort of epic sort of style song, as it were. But yeah, cracking album. Really recommend this to anybody that hasn't come across Annihilator before. This is probably one of the albums to sort of get into. Annihilator. I've not particularly picked up much on the later stuff. There was Alice in Hell, which was before this, which again is really, really good. I mean, that opens up with some fantastic acoustic guitar playing. But yeah, the only reason I said the first side would be really good as an EP is because the second side lets it down a bit. I mean, the songs aren't bad. Imperiled Eyes, Crafting a Phantasmagoria, Reduced to Ash, which is really good. I do like that. And I'm in Command. I think those tracks, and I could be wrong here, so please don't shout, were pretty much leftovers from the previous album and or sort of early demo sessions. I'm sure I seem to remember a couple of those tracks appearing on some like early demo sessions and stuff off one of the early 12-inches I had of theirs back in the day. It's not to say they're bad songs, but when you compare them to the first side, for me there's no comparison, like I say. But again, still a fantastic album, and it still stands up to this day. Great, great album. Next one, Anthrax again. Sort of in that, you know, sort of old school metal vibe. Persistence of Time. Most of you guys out there that are into your metal are going to know about this. The one that did it for me was the single, Got the Time, which is the old Joe Jackson number. Cracking album from start to finish. I saw these guys support Maiden, I think on this tour actually, Persistence of Time tour. Did have a couple of albums before then, and I heard singles like Indians and so forth, but didn't really pick up on Anthrax until later. I don't know why. Maybe it was sort of the crossover. You know, there was that sort of hip hop, sort of rap crossover stuff going on at the time with Public Enemy, which wasn't really my cup of tea. So I suppose that sort of kept me away from Anthrax. But certainly when this album came out, I picked it up, loved it, started delving back and stuff into previous albums. Yeah, can't beat a bit of Anthrax, so that's Persistence of Time, so that's cool. Next one is Megadeth. So Far, So Good, So What? Again, classic Megadeth album. Not part of the Holy Trinity. that would have come later, but really good strong songs on here. Again, Mary Jane was the single on that one, which I think this was the first Megadeth album I actually bought. Missed the first one completely. See, I'm sure Mary Jane was the one that hooked me in. And then I heard the cover of Anarchy in the UK as well, the Sex Pistols song. But yeah, really good strong album. Production lets it down a bit. But yeah, certainly compared to later albums, but you can tell, you know, Dave Ellefson and Mustaine, just fantastic. Really good strong partnership there. Those guys have, you know, seen all the way through the career, and fantastic, fantastic tracks on there. So, you know, what's not to like? Cracking Megadeth album. If you're only familiar with the older stuff, the newer stuff, then pick this one up. For me, I prefer this to Peace Sells. Peace Sells was a really good album, but I think this one just clinches it for me over the two. Rust in Peace is still my favourite, I think, but yeah, I do prefer this to Peace Sells, which probably a lot of people out there will find a bit confusing. I know there's a big fan base for Peace Sells, but you know, not that I'm saying I don't like Peace Sells. It's a fantastic album, but yeah, so far so good, so what. And the last one, before I wrap this video up, was Steve Vai, Passion and Warfare. Yeah, Steve Vai was a bit of a weird one. I was it's Joe Satriani when so it would have been, I think now, would it be late 80s, 90s? Can't hardly read any of this with the bloody light from the camera, but yeah, 1990, yeah. So again, 1990, sort of late 80s, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai were basically the guitar heroes, as it were. You know, magazines like Kerrang and so forth were, you know, really pushing these guys and sort of saying, you know, these are the next, you know, big thing. Joe Satriani, I think, pretty much just did his own thing, and Steve Vai sort of said, you know, I play 7 strings, you know, 6 strings, you know, here's me with my 7-string guitar, you know, get a load of this. And I always remember there was this young teenage kid, I think he was about 13, 14, had exactly the same guitar, and was sort of riffing all over the place, and he was on TV. He just couldn't get away from the kid who was going to be the next guitar hero. I can't remember his name now, but as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen him since anyway, so he obviously just disappeared into the ether somewhere. But this is a really good album, and I've heard you know, a lot of Steve Vai stuff over the years. I don't think he's as consistent as Joe Satriani, and I think if anybody was sort of going to dip the toes into the water, just see what the guy's all about. Certainly solo wise, you've probably heard him with Whitesnake maybe. Yeah, pick this one up. It's really good sort of mix, different stuffs, different styles of music as well. So it's not just, you know, balls out sort of rock metal sort of stuff. There's you know, there's a bit of everything on there. So showing it's nice, you know, different playing styles as well, which is really good. But yeah, so it's you know, a few different bits and bobs. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up now because I'm really parched. I'm not sure, never really get, you know, sort of a dry mouth during making videos. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's this moustache. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe somebody out there can tell me. You know, I seem to remember one of the guys out there is always having a drink on video. So, you know, and he's got a moustache as well. So, you know, perhaps it's him. Hey, Aaron. You never know. Right, let's wrap this one up. Hopefully next week I'll do another video. I've got a couple of bits coming in the post. So, yeah, we'll catch up with you guys then. Thanks again. See you later.